Have you ever wondered how God can heal our hidden wounds? This question, my friends, is not as simple as it appears. It delves into the realm of divine healing, a concept that has been a cornerstone of faith for centuries. When we speak of divine healing, we're referring to the belief in a power that transcends our physical world, the ability of God to mend our wounds, not only those visible to the naked eye, but the ones that lay hidden deep within our hearts and souls. This is a healing that goes beyond the physical, reaching into the emotional, psychological, and spiritual aspects of our being. When we look into the pages of the Bible, we find numerous accounts of divine healing. Take, for instance, the story of the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. She had faith that if she could just touch the hem of Jesus' robe, she would be healed. And indeed, her faith made her whole. Or consider the blind man at Bethsaida, whose sight was restored by Jesus. These instances are not just historical accounts. They are affirmations of the power of faith and the miraculous ability of God to heal. But divine healing is not solely about physical restoration. It is also about healing the wounds of the heart and the spirit. It's about mending the fractures caused by loss, grief, disappointment, and betrayal. These are the hidden wounds we carry, often silently within us. And it is these wounds that God can heal in ways beyond our comprehension. However, it's important to remember that God's healing is not a magic trick performed on demand. It's a journey, a process that requires our active participation. It begins with faith, a deep-seated belief in God's ability to heal us. It requires trust, a surrendering of our worries and fears to His divine care. So, God's healing is a journey, not an event. It's a process that starts with faith and trust in His divine power. As we embark on this journey, let us open our hearts and minds to the transformative power of divine healing. No two stories are the same, yet the healing power of God is a constant. Let's delve into a couple of personal experiences where individuals found solace and healing in their faith. Our first tale is of a woman named Anna. She was trapped in a whirlpool of despair and loneliness, a single mother of two struggling to make ends meet. Life seemed to be an endless cycle of challenges. But in the midst of this turmoil, Anna sought refuge in her faith. She turned to God, praying for strength and healing. And in her darkest hour, she felt a profound sense of calm and resilience. It was as if a divine hand had wiped away her tears and eased her pain. Today, Anna stands firm, her spirit unbroken, testifying to the miraculous healing that she attributes to her faith in God. Next, we have the story of John, a man who carried the weight of a traumatic past. He was haunted by memories that he couldn't shake off, memories that seemed to cast a long shadow over his present. He felt as though he was living in a constant state of torment until he discovered the healing power of God. John began to pray, to surrender his pain and his past to the divine. The transformation was gradual, but it was profound. He felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted off his shoulders. Today, John is a beacon of hope for others, sharing his journey of healing and transformation. These narratives are but a glimpse into the countless stories of divine healing. Stories of individuals who, in their hour of need, found strength, solace, and healing in their faith. Each story is unique, each journey personal, yet the common thread that weaves them together is the transformative power of faith and God's healing. These stories are a testament to the transformative power of faith and God's healing. It's an affirmation that no matter how deep the wound, how profound the pain, with faith, there is always hope for healing. Healing is a process that requires patience, faith, and an open heart. And when we talk about divine healing, it's about more than just physical mending. It's about spiritual restoration, emotional realignment, and mental rejuvenation. In this journey of healing, prayer serves as our lifeline, our direct line to the divine. It's in those quiet moments of prayer that we express our innermost fears, our deepest desires, and our sincerest thanks. It's an intimate conversation with God, a dialogue of the soul, where we bear our wounds and seek His divine intervention. But prayer is just the starting point. The next step, and perhaps the most challenging one, is faith. Faith is not merely acknowledging God's existence, but it's trusting in His wisdom, His timing, and His plan. It's believing that even when the path is steep and the night is dark, God is guiding us towards the light. Faith is the assurance that even when we can't see the end of the tunnel, God is there, leading us every step of the way. And then there's surrender, the act of letting go and letting God. It's a profound realization that we are not in control, but there is one who is. Surrendering is not about giving up, but about giving in to the will of God. It's about acknowledging that His plans are higher than ours, His thoughts are deeper than ours, and His ways are beyond our comprehension. And in this process of divine healing, God often uses our pain and our wounds for a greater purpose. Our trials are not meant to break us, but to shape us. Our wounds are not meant to define us, but to refine us. And our pain, as unbearable as it may seem, is often the catalyst for our growth, our transformation, and our healing. In the midst of our pain, God is working for our good and His glory. So let's embrace the process, let's trust in His plan, and let's open our hearts to His divine healing. Because healing is not just a destination, it's a journey towards wholeness, towards peace, and towards a deeper understanding of God's infinite love for us. Inviting God's healing into our lives is a conscious choice. A choice to surrender, to let go, and to allow the divine to mend our wounds, seen and unseen. It isn't always easy, but the rewards are boundless, the peace indescribable. But how do we make this choice? How do we invite this divine healing into our lives? First and foremost, prayer is our direct line to the divine. It's in these moments of quiet reflection and earnest petition that we can truly seek God's healing. Prayer is more than just a request for help. It's an expression of trust, acknowledging that we believe in a power greater than ourselves, capable of healing us in ways we can't even begin to comprehend. And then there's the Bible, a source of wisdom, guidance, and comfort. Reading the Bible can be a transformative experience, bringing us face to face with God's promises for our lives. The scriptures tell us of God's love, His mercy, and His power to heal. They remind us that no matter what we are going through, God is with us, ready to heal us if we simply ask. Seeking spiritual guidance is yet another step towards inviting divine healing. Spiritual mentors, whether pastors, priests, or trusted elders, can provide insight, encouragement, and counsel based on their own experiences with God. They can guide us through the process of healing, helping us understand and apply biblical truths to our own situations. But perhaps one of the most powerful ways to invite divine healing is through forgiveness. Forgiveness is a choice to let go of past hurts, to release the burden of resentment and bitterness. It's an act of love, both for ourselves and for those who have hurt us. When we forgive, we make room for God's healing to work in us and through us. When we open our hearts to God, we open the door to healing. We invite the divine to touch our wounds, to soothe our pain, and to fill us with His peace. It's a journey, a process, but with each step we come closer to wholeness, closer to the healing that only God can provide. God's healing transforms us, making us vessels of His love and grace. The impact of divine healing is profound, not only on our physical well-being, but also on our spiritual and emotional health. It's like a ripple effect that spreads far and wide, touching every aspect of our lives and the lives of those around us. When we experience divine healing, we're given a newfound strength, a kind of resilience that stems from our faith and trust in God. This strength is not just physical, but it's also spiritual, providing us with the fortitude to face life's challenges head-on. It's the kind of strength that empowers us to stand firm in our faith, even when the world around us seems to be falling apart. In addition to strength, divine healing brings a sense of peace, a tranquility that transcends all understanding. This peace comes from knowing that we're in God's caring hands, that He is with us in our suffering, and that He will never leave us nor forsake us. This peace is a soothing balm for our wounded souls, giving us the assurance that we're not alone in our struggles. Furthermore, divine healing imbues us with a renewed sense of purpose. It reminds us that we're part of God's grand plan, that we're here for a reason, and that God can use our experiences, even our pain, for His glory. This purpose fuels our passion to serve God and to serve others, inspiring us to make a difference in the world. But the impact of divine healing doesn't stop with us. As we're healed, we become instruments of God's healing to others. We become channels of His love and grace, extending His healing touch to those who are hurting, those who are in need. We become living testimonies of God's healing power, inspiring others to seek His healing in their lives. In conclusion, divine healing is not just about recovering from our wounds. It's about transformation, renewal, and purpose. It's about becoming a beacon of hope for others. Through God's healing, we become beacons of hope, radiating His love and grace to those around us.